So what I have here is my latest board back from Osh Park. This is the Drive Brain. It has a name now and it's Rev 1. This is the latest incarnation of my control board for the Mini-Mecanum remote control / autonomous vehicle that I've been working on for a while, and I have the other videos out there about it. This one incorporates two, right in this spot right here, two Arduino Pro Minis. They're easy to program, and I have them right now, and I can get them online. I think it's like 5 for $15. They're probably Chinese knockoffs, but I have them. The next incarnation of this, well, probably a little bit down the road, we'll just drop this all together and we'll just jab on an 18 mega something or another, and then just skip the whole Arduino. But for now, it works, and I can get this thing going. Now, that's kind of the moral or the story of this video. The good side and the bad side of that. I'm trying to get this thing going. I'm trying to get it out, trying to get it made. So I don't mind working quick, slamming the thing together, you know, spending some time on it, but basically trying to get it done and then send the damn thing out to Osh Park. These are a little bit bigger. Here you can see, a little bit bigger than my other ones. I think they were probably about $25 for 3 of them. So, you know, not really breaking the bank still. Anyways, I wanted to get them out, so I was putting the board together, and for the, gosh, I don't know, millionth time, I forgot to check the drill hole sizes in these hole strips right here, in these footprints. If you bring this up here, you can see these over here work just fine, but these are noticeably smaller. So that's wrong. Now that in itself is not a deal killer. I've dealt with this before. We have a little drill jig just for this, and I could drill them out. It doesn't leave very much pad, but you can usually solder onto it, and what the hell, I got 3 of them to, you know, at least 2 of them I can screw up, right? So yeah, I could have got around that, but here is the bigger screw up. Here's my little Pro Mini, and if you look at this, oh, oops, the holes don't match up. Well, what happened there, it wasn't really it was definitely a mistake, but what I did is I forgot to come back and fix my footprint. So I was in a hurry, and I don't want that to necessarily be a bad thing. You know, hurry's fine. We're in a hurry. But I was putting the thing together, and I had the Pro Mini with me, but I didn't happen to have any measurement devices in my hand at that moment. And I said, you know what, let's go ahead and just make this damn footprint. I'll get the footprint done. You know, make a pin, make a pin, make a pin, make a pin. You're just like, you're sitting at the computer, so you're like, what the hell, let's just dot these things out, get it done. I'll measure the thing, come back, and fix my footprint, right? So yeah, I didn't do that, and so I shipped them off. Now, is that horrible? Is that oh my god, I can't believe you did that? Well, yeah, it kind of bugs me, and it bugs me a lot, you know, that I forget like these drill holes again. The last board, I forgot to leave off the solder mask on top of these heatsink pads that I have right here. So it's a whole lot of learning and remembering for me, but I don't mind. I don't mind, other than the time it's spent, because obviously, I mean, the money is not a big deal at all. It's mainly that right now for where I live, it's taking about 3 weeks, and I probably imagine that's about the same anywhere in the States to get a board from Osh Park. But as you can see from the rest of my videos, I have lots of projects I'm working on, so it's pretty easy to foot something and come back to it. But I would really like to have my little toy car, right? So I want to get this fixed. Anyways, the rest of the video, what I'm going to show you here is what I have to do to fix this problem. It's actually not that big of a deal. All I have to do is, if you've played with this software ever before, if you haven't at all, this will be a nice video to watch, I guess, to learn how to deal with this. When you make your footprints, all I have to do is just go edit this one single set of 2 rows of, or this one footprint is a thing here with the rows of pins, and I'll just move that row out. They need to be 6/10 away from each other, right? I'll do that, and it won't actually screw up anything here. All of these things will still stay wired as they're supposed to. I'll just have to take this block here, move this out. The same thing over here, a couple extras, a couple resistors here, and a diode that I'll have to push out, or an LED, sorry, and then just enlarge my cut pattern. Alright, so hopefully this will not be a year-long video like the rest of mine. Me from the future here, I just wanted to pop in and say that, well, you know, the old me is kind of full of shit right here. And this is actually, well, it's long enough that I split it into 2 parts, and I kind of felt it was sort of necessary. What I want to do is show everyone that it's kind of a real big pain in the ass to make a change in your PCB. You know, what you think is going to be just a small, simple fix, you know, real quickly becomes, you know, kind of a nightmare and just like a complete reroute. So along with some KiCAD tips and tricks, on the fly, if you will, that's the process that I want to show. I want to show the confusion, the frustration, and all of that on how I'm trying to figure out how to go through fixing this board. You know, just because I can't leave things be, let me give you a quick run through on the things that I find interesting about this. These are breakouts, so these are going to go to the motors and some other things. This is what the thing I was trying to explain in one of the earlier videos about that I messed up. This is a heat sink for the voltage regulators that are going to go here. So we have a 5 volt and a 3 volt linear regulator that's going to get smashed down on here. We're going to stick it down with thermal adhesive, not just thermal paste. It's going to be thermal adhesive, and the vias here will go through, and you're always mindful to keep all of your traces away from that area, including especially on the back here where we want to have it to be, you know, thermally free, I guess, right? So all the heat will come through the vias to this whole flooded back ground plane and dissipate the heat. We've already tested that, and it does work really peachy. Since I'm here, I'll mention this, get my little ruler out here again. I am pretty happy with their print. This is, you know, the letters are, you know, less than a millimeter, and they're still very, very clear. Another thing that I learned from previous builds is, as a rule, you don't put any silk screen over the top of pads because they can print over the top of the pad. The PCB manufacturer, they'll print right over the top, and then it will, you have to burn it away basically before you can solder right there. Well, I've already known that Oshpark clips that all off there, so I was fine. I already knew I was fine in leaving that graphic there. Also doing things like this, having a little bit of a artistic thing here where we leave off the solder mask in certain areas, so it gives a little bit different look with the gold on there. Okay, so that's it. It's a control board. So hopefully this works out really well, and then I have aspirations to either or both turn this over to open source world and let anybody else have it if they want it, and also be able to use it for any kind of classes that I might teach, where I can say, hey, let's build a little car, and they don't have to do all the work, but they can see how it was done. Alright, so let's go over to KiCAD, and we'll go fix a footprint. Alright, so here is my KiCAD file for what I'm calling my drive brain. What we're going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just fix up the problem I had. I had a hole problem. The holes were drilled too small, and the bigger deal was my footprint for the Pro Minis was too small. Okay, But before I get started with that, I wanted to make mention a thing that I had to do here, and I figured it's worth talking about. I'm sitting at a computer that I don't usually use KiCAD on for editing my files. So the libraries aren't here. So I have my files here for the board, but what you want to do is you want to remember to come in and change your libraries around so that if you are using your own custom footprints, that it can find them. And so I guess I'll forward this with saying, again, I'm still very new with KiCAD, but I'm very used to software and things and how things are supposed to react. There's so many things that we work with, be it code and other libraries and HTML and CSS and things that you need to have to refer to something else, right? So that concept is pretty understandable. Also, things like path statements and such, right? And the need to make your own things in that respect. So, for example, I have decided right off the bat to make all my own libraries. I hardly ever use any of the ones that are in there, and I guess that's because of my ineptitude, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's more like I don't know enough to trust those things, so I start making my own. And then after reading and watching a lot of the other videos online, turns out a lot of people do that. A lot of people talk about how at their professional organization, they're not even allowed to use anybody else's footprint, and they make their own, and so then therefore you store them all in your own libraries. And so then that brings back, to this topic. Where are your libraries stored? So for example, I work off my memory stick for the most part, so I can do this wherever I go. On my memory stick, I have all of my KiCAD files, all of my PCBs and things that I'm working on. So in this folder, I have my libraries. So it makes sense for me to set that everywhere I go. Now, what you'll see here in a second is you can't, as far as I can see, you can't set it here in your main window. You have to actually get into, say, your PCB here. So here's the drive brain. And then you can go and say, okay, footprint library manager. When you're in here, you have a choice of saying, do I want to make it a global library or do I want to make it a project specific library? In my particular instance, I chose to make this a global library, so it always looks in the library files. It's kind of up to you, think it out how you're going to work this. I am making all of my footprints in my library for all of my parts, so any of my parts any of my boards, I can go to the library and I can use anything from anything else. If you want to do it differently, you bet, then maybe that'll make sense for what you want to do. For example, your boards would use all the parts from this one particular library. Another product would use its own specific library. To each his own. Everybody's got their own way to do it. So I go to global libraries here. Now the other thing is, anybody that sits at this computer here might be able to see this. I don't know if that's going to be important to you or not, right? They won't necessarily get at it in my case because it's on my memory stick and it's not going to be plugged into the computer. Anyways, so here is my library down here. I just put it as + library. The + thing is just a habit to alphabetize it up at the top. And then you type this in. The thing that I thought was kind of interesting in the beginning here is that you put the name in here and then you have to type the full path out, right? This is on a Linux machine, so that's why you see the path written this way. I would suggest, and sorry again if I'm sounding authoritative on this because, again, I don't know so much, right? I found it real easy to say append with wizard. Before I was typing it in by hand, and then I was like, well, let's try the wizard. Kind of by default, I just avoid wizards because they're usually kind of stupid or simplistic. This one was really pretty simple. It did exactly what I wanted to do. You say, where do you want files on my computer? Click next, go navigate through your computer, find the library file, or in this case, I just said the whole folder, and then it creates a path for it, and then you're all good to go. Now, anytime you go to edit a footprint, or create a new footprint, it says to select your library, it will be there. One thing I noticed before, I don't know if this is indicative of every version or all future versions, but it didn't show up right away, so I had to shut everything down and then reload, open it back up, and then when I go to select the library, my library was actually there. Alright, so let's do the footprint first here. Here's my board. So the footprint here in the other segment, I mentioned that I had just guessed the footprint distance, and with all best intentions, I planned on getting out the calipers and measuring it in a second to see what it was, but I got involved with making the board and moved on to something else and forgot to go back and actually measure it. So anyways, these were about 5/10 of an inch apart, something like that. And the Pro Mini is supposed to be, the distance from pin to pin here is 0.6. So that needs a change. So that's easy enough. We'll go in here and we'll change the footprint. But then when I come back, all this is going to be larger, and I'm going to have to change a lot of other things here. Some of the positions here of diodes or LEDs and resistors, they can kind of stay the same here. But this board line here, the cut line is going to have to change, of course. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is, well, by the way, both of these are the same, so that's going to make things easy. If you find an area to right click on it where it is your footprint, you come over here, say Edit with Footprint Editor. Click on that, and then we get this window here. I'll be able to go back through this also and change the hole diameter as well. All right, so to make things easier for us, almost mandatory, is we're going to want to come up here and you're going to want to change your grid spacing. If I'm going to grab a pin and I'm going to drag it around here, hopefully you can see here's where it's all snapping to. There's all my points, the grid points. Well, if I need this to be 0.6 from here to here, it would be nice to be able to have points here that I can snap to. Now, I also would prefer, does it really matter? I don't know. I would like this thing to be centered. So if I want this to be centered, I'm going to want to go, of course, 3 one direction and 3 the other for my 6, I said millimeters before, sorry, 6/10 of an inch. Okay, so to do that, you're going to want to come up here and look for this, look closely at all the different distances here. 2.54 millimeters is 1/10 of an inch, or 100 mils, or 100 thou, if you want to call it that way. Machinist lingo leans towards thou, 100 thou, 50 thou, 20 thou. A lot of times I see mils, well, here, but in like thicknesses of film or plastic or something. All right, so we'll pick that. And now you can see our spacing here. So this is our 0 line, and there's 1, 2, and then 3 is supposed to be up here. But now look at this. The spacing here is correct. I like the symmetry here. We got 6 on one side, we have 6 on the other side, and that's fine, except I can't get to this pin right here. If I grab this pin and I try to move it up, it's going to snap over to here or over to here. So I need to change this to 50 thou, or 50 mil. So if I do this, then that puts a pin right smack in the middle here, and then one right up here. So you just have to think a little bit. Be careful as you're counting. So there is 1 right there, then next 2 and 3. So this is our 3 line right here. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pin here, and I need to move it. You could go this route, move pad, and then move it like that, for sure. Now you see how it leaves a little artifact behind. If you zoom in and out, it'll go away. That's probably just about the slowest way you could do it, right? Do this. So question mark, shift question mark, right? We'll bring up the hotkey list. I've mentioned this in passing in some of the other KiCAD videos. The hotkey list is different from area to area. So if you're in your footprint editor, you'll have a different hotkey list, say from maybe in your schematic editor, and so on. Kind of weird. Especially weird when it comes to things like copy and paste. you know, the same old copy paste isn't the same from area to area. Hopefully that maybe changes someday. Anyways, learn this. Just bring it up all the time whenever you need it. So this is what we want. We want M for move. Okay, so that's great. So we just hover over. The idea is you hover over it first, then you hit M, and now I can move it wherever I want. Again, there's that artifact. It's not really there. We'll just move this up. There you go. Zoom in and out if you want, and then that's good. Okay, that's getting better. That's great for onesie twosie stuff, but it would be a lot better if I could just move the whole thing, which of course we can. So draw a box around the whole deal, and then we can move the whole lot of it wherever we want. This is a weird thing that I notice. I'm going to hit escape to drop it and just leave it where it is. I can't remember exactly what the deal here was, so sorry about this, but there was a point in time where I was grabbing everything and I needed to move it in an increment. I might have been trying to snap it to a feature that was already there. But anyways, keep in mind that when you go to move this, it seems to move based upon where your cursor is. So when I highlight this, see where my mouse is over here, focus over there. This, you know, see the little finger right there? It's moving on that point to that point, not over, I wish I could point at the screen, not over there where raw pin is on the far left there. It doesn't care about that. So what I learned to do in this one certain circumstance was to highlight the mess and have it end right over the center of the pin. And then that way my finger is here and it goes right, at least my brain focus, me, is, you know, I'm seeing, it looks to me like I'm moving it right where I want to. Right? So nothing special there. So we're going to bring this up one click, one notch. Now we have it. There's boink, boink. There's 1, 2, 3. So that's our 3 tenths of an inch. Then we can go over here, grab the rest of this, bring it down one notch. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy. Right, so that's done. Now we want to save this. Now if I save footprint here in active library, this may or may not be in the library that you think it is. So go here and select the active library, and this is why I gave the story from before. If you are on a different computer, you've moved around a little bit, your library won't be here. You'll have to stop what you're doing. It's kind of a pain in the ass because I had to save it somewhere else, go put my library in, shut the thing down to reboot it, restart the app, and then bring it back up, open it up, and then get the damn thing from the other or something like that. It was a little while ago, but so do this first. Okay, so there's my library, my working library that I'm going to save it in. Then I can save the footprint, and it says, what do you want to call it? I want to call it Pro Mini Socket, the same as it was before. Auto overwrites, and all is good. I can close it down. I would suggest that you, if you just did that and you planned on going, 50,000 steps down the road, you might want to do something like place it and make sure that it's actually there. So if I go to my libraries here, and I clicked a window in the back or something weird. Pro Mini Socket. Wow, this is a pain in the ass. Okay, well, cool. It brought me back. And you look at this, I can see just by looking this is wider. So anyways, that's what I'm talking about, is just make sure that it's actually in there. Cool. Escape gets you back to your pointer cursor, which is nice. If you want to delete the whole footprint here, there, or you can hover over it. So this is kind of weird. I went to go ahead and just say, pick it and then hit delete on the keyboard. But I'm clicking on it and it doesn't delete, but I find a spot here. There, see, now it deletes. Don't really know why that is. I can't say that it seems like it really was a big deal before, but anyway, so you're supposed to be able to click on it, hit the delete key, and it'll disappear. Or right click on it, go to footprint, and say, you know, get rid of it that way. So now that I've changed it, this still hasn't updated. I don't know, maybe it's here somewhere and I just am not aware of it, but I thought it would be kind of nice if you had kind of an update button here, right? Like in CAD programs that you just hit it and it would reassociate or something like that, right? My suspicion is this is all held in a cache somewhere, and until you, you know, rejuve it somehow, it just sits there. So here's the rejuve, I guess. You get a hold of just your footprint here, and you right click, go to footprint. Instead of going edit in footprint editor, just say edit parameters, and it will bring this menu up. And what we're going to do is we're going to say change footprint, but you're going to change it to you're just going to leave it there. You're just not even going to do anything. You say change it to that, and hit apply and close, and there it is. There's our new one that's updated. But you notice the other one hasn't been updated, so we have to go do that. Edit parameters, change footprint, that one, apply, close, and that's better. Now a whole bunch of my routes have gone to shit, so I suspect that probably what happened is the extra width has caused a lot of stuff to become bad. Some things are crossing over and running into the others. So now that's the next part of the big mess here, is trying to straighten this all out. Well, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking a bunch of thoughts, and I don't really script any of this stuff. I just want to kind of talk and do things, but I'm like, well, what am I going to say here, right? I want to get to editing this, but I want to talk about, like, you know, how do you do this? Well, there's this other part of this stuff that's not like how. It's like, is it okay? Should I, you know, like I was saying before in the footprint, I like it to be centered. Does that matter? Do we give a shit? Probably not. You know, maybe it doesn't even matter, but I like it to be that way. Things like this. I want my board to be this shape. Part of it is to try to save cost and squish things in there, and other, you know, to some degree, something was like, oh, because this looked kind of cool. You know, did I need this here? Could I make it square? I could have made it square, but it looked kind of cooler to put a little corner on there. Oh my God, is that the end of the world? I don't know, you know. So what do I talk about here? So what I'm thinking is I want to kind of start to delete some of these lines, but, you know, another person in a different world might just say, let's delete the whole, you know, set of cut lines here and start all over. But I kind of want to keep my let's call this design intent or something, you know, my design look, I guess. I'm not sure, right? The other part of it might be that it fits it in the vehicle or something a certain way, but that's not the case. So I'll probably just delete as much as I need and then try to refill it in. The other thing is this. It's been probably, you know, it's over the holidays. This is January right now, so we had Christmas holidays and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So it's probably been a good month or so since I've looked at this. And what happens is the same thing with a lot of things is I've kind of forgot what my little jam was. You know, what was I working on? What was important? You know, as far as like how to route things, what was a big deal to me? So it's going to take a little bit to kind of stare at this and figure out, you know, what was I trying to do. For example, there's these pads up here that I have hidden right now. But I have these pads that are, let's just say, thermal pads for the voltage regulators. I don't want any lines to cross into there, because then I'll end up losing my thermal conductivity. I do remember that, you know. So, anyways, I'll probably just pause the video, kind of think about it a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and start clicking on things. It'll probably be, you know, the sped up wacky sax version of the thing, just as I go through it. All right. Well, I'm still not really sure what I'm going to do here. But I figure the first thing, I turned all that, oops, I didn't do the front silk screen. I turned on all the other crap, you know, all my different layers. And I think to try to get my focus here, the first thing to do is going to be get rid of these filled zones here, all the these. So I want to remove all filled areas. Okay, and so now we're back to just the traces. Okay, so that kind of helps. Then, like I said, I'll probably just get rid of... Yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of the zones. I'm going to have to get rid of those. Get rid of that edge cut right there. And God damn it. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, see, now it found it. Okay, fine. Grab the garbage can. Bring it over here. Okay. Zoom in and out to get rid of any artifacts. So you look around and you start seeing, before you just start yanking things around, you know what, how disruptive is it gonna be? Because these things got wider, this section right here is closer together, and on the Pro Mini, that's not enough gap. The boards are gonna hit, so I have to pull these things apart. Now, things that I wanted to have with this, my regulators right here, as you see, I have them sitting kind of inside of this socket. This is going to be, it's not going to be a stand-up set of headers. I'm going to solder the Pro Mini right to the board with the pins. I'll put the pins in the Pro Mini, and then I'll stuff it into these holes here. And so we're going to have probably, I don't know, maybe about 4 millimeters of clearance from the that little plastic bit that's in a pin header. Maybe up here I could put a little picture so you can see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we have that little bit of height there, and what I planned on to try to save space, always trying to eke out a little bit of space, because what I'm going to do later, I decided, is I'm going to show you how to upload this to OshPark and go through the whole damn deal. They say that the cost at this time in history, January 2017, that it's $5 a square inch. The thing that I was really pleasantly surprised about was it's not $5 a square inch in increments of 1 inch. Like if you had 1.5 inches, it would be more than 1 inch, so they're going to charge you the 2-inch price. They will charge you by volume, right? So I had one of the first ones I made was a little bit less than 1 inch square, and for 3 boards it ended up being like $3.80 with free shipping. So Lane, I don't know how you do it, but thank you. This is very, very cool. Alright, so anyways, I'm trying to conserve some space, because every little piece that a little bit that you eke out of it is going to be a little bit of money. So consider that too when you're leaving lots of space to do all kinds of names and graphics if you don't need to. Alright, so I have this TO220 right here that I could have put out here a little bit further, but I figured I'd have enough room to put this in first, bend it over, and solder it down to the thermal pad, and then be able to put the socket in here, put it right over the top, and save myself, maybe at 0.2 of an inch or something like that. So I want that. That's a preference. It's not a mandatory, whatever. So I wanted that to happen. So if I move this out and I want to keep this centered here, which yes, I want to do, I'm going to have to pull this out with it. Then I'm going to have to move this over because I need this to be centered between the, or my OCD will flip out and it's not going to be nice. So I want that to happen. Is that going to be easy? Probably all right. It probably won't be too bad. But I guess that's kind of what I'm saying here is it's and maybe also I'm a little bit tired, so I'm kind of stupid right now, but I'm just staring at it, thinking about things. So see how it wants to frickin' frack get on the pins there, the buttons, the points, sorry, there you go. Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. So I'll take this and I'll grab this, move this. As you move things out, you're going to ruin your traces and you're going to get your rat nest back. So that's fine. Make sure if you want this thing to be parallel or straight with the other one, move it accordingly. So I'm going to try to grab this whole lot. Oops, I grabbed too much. Oh no, that's alright. Where should I put it? You know what? Let's just move it way the hell over here for now. But I'm going to try to stay on plane, if you will, with the other one there, so that I can just bring it back and I don't have to worry. It was kind of important to me that this one here lines up with this one over here. Alright, now this one here, I'm going to hover over it. I'm going to hit the move key and get just that footprint. I kind of spazzed on that last one. I for some reason I thought that it was a footprint and a couple other things. So that's why I selected the whole thing with the box. It's just the footprint. I could have just hovered over and hit M as well. Okay, so I think that what's my spacing? So I'm at yeah, hit that here. So if you look up here, you might want to change your oops, oh, wrong place. You might need to change your grid to make more sense for you, but that's okay. So we're at 50 thou. I think in thou, I kind of hate mills. I hate having extra stuff. God, I wish we'd just like pick one, but that's life. It's not going to happen. So right now I have probably one. There's one. So I got you know, almost 2/10 of an inch between here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and you know what? You might as well zoom in a little bit more, and I'm going to move this thing over. How about like that? Okay. All right. So the Pro Mini itself is in inches. It's 0.707 wide. The one I have, I just grabbed my calipers and I just measured it. I was going to tell you a story how I don't really care, and I figure it's probably good enough of a gap there, and I heard the internet people going, well, why didn't you just measure it? And I was like, damn it, you know, oh yeah, maybe I should. I don't feel like it. I don't want to go grab a caliper. And I looked down on the table, and sure enough, there's a caliper sitting right there. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll measure it. So the Pro Mini, yeah, it's this one here. Like I said, it's 0.707, about 8, something like that, right? So if I want to check this here, if for gap, that's going to be plenty well fine. So we'll move that over, and then we'll grab this. Now this is going to be a little bit of a mess here because so it's coming back to me what I did here. This the purple zone here, this is a solder mask zone that I put here, masked off, masked away, whatever. So this is all copper. That's the idea, that I want that to be all copper there. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna, oh boy, I'm gonna grab the this one here. I'm gonna go ahead and move him over, and I'm trying to keep him in line with the other one over there on the left. That looks pretty centered. And now all of my V's and everything here are all jacked up. So this might be a pause for a minute, because I had to figure out how I'm going to do this, because I need to select all that crap. Maybe I should put it back, select everything, and then bring it over. Well, there's always undo, right? So Control Z, and I'll put it back, and let's try grabbing the whole thing here. I'm going to end up probably grabbing some things that I don't want. Knowing how your programs work with your drag, you know, whatever multi-selection tool, whatever you want to call this, it's probably handy. So like if I grab this, see, look at that, I'm ripping out everything there. So what that tells me is this software works with, if you know CATIA, if you work with that, I mean other programs probably do this too. They have different selection modes where if you select, for example, something like this right here, you have to select the entire thing to get everything you want, or I could just select a piece of it and it will get all of that said thing. And so in this case here, gosh, I don't even know if that made sense. I could select just a tiny little bit of this, it looks like, and I'm getting all of that, you see. I get all of the unit that happen to be kind of selected, but I get only the pieces of all those little guys that I selected. So I'm going to have to carefully get in here, and probably I'll just focus on grabbing all the vias, and I think then the filled zone and everything else will come along with it. Yay, I think that's a winner. Make sure it's lined up with the other one, using my other dots as a guide there. Hot damn, look at that. So for the most part I got it. I got broken traces, I got my filled zone. Good. So this is going to be hopefully downhill from here. So what do I have here? This is all one footprint, so that's going to be easy. So I'll move this over. Okay, let's put the grid spacing back. This here is going to be a header block, so that's the standard, whatever the height is on those. I'd say they're probably about 2/10 high, something like that. The NRF24 module is going to get plugged in here sideways, so if you know what that looks like, the 8 pins will go in here, and then the idea is, again, trying to overlap things. This sits underneath there. This thing right here will go right over the top of the voltage regulator there, which should be fine. In maybe a different world, I could see that maybe there could be some kind of interference in here. I don't know what kind of RF or anything that a linear regulator puts off, but it seems to me that maybe if I was really trying for long range, high speed, trying to eke out distance on my RF module, that maybe I would have to do some, put some cans over them or something. I don't know, just guessing. Okay, so that's that. What else is broken here? These things right here, this needs to get moved over too, so I think I can just move this over a little bit. Yeah, we gotta jimmy some other stuff around here. Yeah, let's pull that over. Oh man, every time I move it, there goes another 50 cents. Gosh, what am I gonna do? Okay, so I had to move this over so I could get this a little bit further away from the leads in the resistor over there. I'm gonna half this down and move this over just a touch there. Then I was hoping I wouldn't have to dick with this thing over here, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to grab this whole lot here and bring it over. So, well, like I said, there's always undo. So I'm going to try to grab all this, and I'm hoping that I don't. God damn it! Yeah, here I didn't want to get the graphic there. So let me hide all the back, front. Whoops. Alright, so the last fix as far as broken stuff is concerned that I have to do is I got to change all the hole sizes, the drill holes for these footprints right here. These ones here are fine. You can see that these ones here are larger than these ones. These fit fine. The thing I wanted to mention though is when you're looking at data sheets for, say, pins, and if you're not, you should. Well, I guess you could just measure them. That might be the point that I'm getting to. Your pin headers are not round, they're square, right? So if you look at your data sheet and it says that the thing is like, say it's 25 thou thick, okay, remember that you need to be checking corner to corner because you're going to have a drilled hole that's going to go in there. So I'm looking at this right now. I have the calipers in my hand. I take the pin, if you can imagine this, and I give it a little bit of a twist so that it's going corner to corner, and it actually goes, as I roll it around here, it goes up to about 26, 27, 0.26, 0.2, sorry, 0.026 So 26 thou corner to corner, so make sure you measure that, because that's going to be the whole side size that you want to put in there. Also, understand or know this from machine shop stuff: you cannot take a 10mm shaft and stick it in a 10mm hole. It will not fit. You have to have some tolerance there. So whenever you see something like that, you're going to put a drill hole in there. If it's 0.27, make it 0.3, right? Make it 0.027, make it 0.03, something like that. Easy enough to flow the solder around there. Alright, so I'm going to go back to editing this footprint. I know this one works just for the sake of continuity, I guess. Doesn't matter. I don't know. You know, they're doing it on a router, I believe, because these ones, I don't know if they're changing tools or not. I don't know, but I'm just thinking from a manufacturing point of view, if it's a little bit challenging on their half, maybe I'll try to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so I go here, right click, edit pad, and wow, yeah, look at that. The hole size over here, 0.04, so 40,000th of an inch. So I think that's probably good. I'm going to go with that across the board for all these headers here. So edit the footprint, back to this again, and now I have to go through each one of these. I do not believe, yeah, I don't think I can multi-select these things and change them all at the same time. Yeah, no, just thought I'd try. There might be a way. So, yay, gonna go through all of this. So see how it opens up? Now, it opened up. I might choose to add a little bit more of a pad there. I feel that that might be a good idea. So let's go back to edit here. So I'm going to change a couple different values. Should I make it longer, wider? I don't know. It's kind of nice. I'm sort of having, I don't know if you'd say fun, but playing around with pad sizes here. All the stuff that you're used to, maybe it's fine, but if you can get away with making it bigger or longer and it makes it easier for you to solder to it, go for it. That's what you can do here. So I'll change it from 0.0, from 60 thou. I'm going to try to talk that way. 60 thou makes it a little bit more round. If I want, I can change this. Look at this weird ass number here. I probably did this in millimeters. I'm not really sure initially why it went out so crappy like that. But let's make this 0.9. What does that look like? 794. How about that? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's go with that. Maybe that's a little bit fatty, but I'm gonna roll with it. Okay. And on you go. So I'll pause this, I get this straightened out and come back. I found a new thing. I right clicked, I went to edit pad, which by the way is E. I was going to tell you that before. For right now it seemed to be easier to right click. I slipped and I accidentally hit new pad settings. So guess what I just figured out? Look at that. Right click, new pad settings, right click, new pad settings, right click, new pad settings. That was probably not very intuitive. I was sitting here thinking about it. Maybe I wished it into existence. That they need to have like a format painter, you know, that you click one and you just do the rest. So whatever apparently the last one was is my suspicion, right? Because how would it know? It picks that and it goes with it. Can we do all of them? No. Okay. Anyways, new pad settings. New pad settings. Can we control select things? No. Shift. No. Be nice if that was on a hotkey, maybe. Cool. So that wasn't too hard after all. So that's done. So now you got to save it. We should already have the active library selected. If you ever want to make sure, just click it again and go here, save it, same name if you want it to be that. In this case, yes, I do. Now close this. Again, remember that it doesn't update, so I have to right click on here, footprint, go to edit parameters, change footprint, agree to the one that's already there, close that down, new things are there, go do the other one, shibby shebang, change footprint, apply, close, done. Excellent. Jesus. So that's saving a lot of work there. So that part's done. Oh yeah. Make sure, by the way, that you hit the save button. Just as with anything, hit save a lot. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning this thing all up, and then I'll come back. I got to move that little guy over there. There we go. Yeah, I'm okay with that overlapping a little bit there. Lots of routing here. For now, at this point in time in my Padawan stage, I am, like I said, making all my own footprints. I'm doing it for practice. I'm doing it to just get more and more used to the program. I this and with other ones won't go near an auto router, route by hand, spend the time. So I mean, just looking at this, if any of you have done this before, this is probably not a hard board, but everything gets harder as you try to tighten it up. If we made this thing a foot square, yeah, no big deal. So I'll come back later after I've got this kind of done, and then we'll finish it off, and we'll save it all. We'll upload it to Osh Park, show you how that works, and that will be it.